So equity markets are falling away with the crisis in the Middle East, and we're seeing, for example, the Euro Stoxx is down 1.5%. It gave a downside target on the 60-minute chart last week of 7% lower. That we saw a little recovery after that, and then we saw another target given on Friday that was met today. So we've got a target at 7% lower, and that means that in the 600 there will be stocks that do much worse than that 7%. So I want to find those stocks. I want to find the stocks with the biggest downside, either to be sure I'm not holding them or for shorting opportunities. So let's run a scan. So the first thing is you can get, because Updata is running on Bloomberg, I can just pull that data from Bloomberg and run the scan. So it's one of the really powerful features of Updata. And in fact, you can do that also with lots of other data services. So if you're running on LSEG, which I'm also running on, you can just click this spreadsheet and you will get a spreadsheet, and you can take those codes and you can put them in as well. So it's really very simple. But Bloomberg actually has a brilliant tool for creating a list. So you can actually just go new, and you can say create the watch list from paste to test. You can paste it manually, but Bloomberg has this feature which is get index members. So you click OK on that, and then in your Bloomberg you type the code and it will create a list from any index. So it's really, really powerful. Now, I've already done that. So there's my list of the Euro Stoxx 600, and now I want to run a scan to find the stocks with the biggest daily downside targets. So first thing I do is I go to scanning, and the scanning is really, really powerful. So I could do a new scan. I've got lots of pre-written ones. I can scan pretty much any indicator that I want. So you could literally go through all of the indicators that are in Updata. I can scan also custom indicators, and there's hundreds of those in Updata. Point and figure, candle patterns, so you can scan for head and shoulders, divergence, any candle patterns. But what I'm going to scan for is the price targets, because that's... Now, I could say that I want multiple targets to the downside, which will increase the likelihood of the targets being met, but I will have fewer results. So I'm going to just look for stocks that have got more than 25% downside, and that's really all I want to know, is just which stocks have got more than 25% downside. I add the condition. I'm going to save and run, and I'm going to call it big downside. I've probably got one of these already named, big downside 25%. I'm going to name that there, save, and now I'm going to run it on my list. So it provides me with a list here, and I go to my SXXP, which you can see how many lists I've got, which is index members. Click that little box and run the scan. So it's now going to run through those 600 stocks, and it's already found one, and it's telling me the percentages here. You can rank these columns as they come in, but this is really where I want to find the stocks with the biggest downside. So this scan would normally take maybe 2 minutes. You can schedule these scans to run, which is a really good idea. You can schedule them overnight, or especially on weekends, if you don't want to stress taking too much data off your Bloomberg at any one time. But you can see we're coming up the list here. I'm going to pause this, and then we'll run through the results. Okay, so I paused for just over a minute. And you can see we're down to the last sort of 50 stocks in the scan, and there we go, and it's going to tell me how many. So there we go, quite a few. There's 40 stocks in the Euro Stoxx 600 that have got more than 25% downside. Now I can rank them in terms of the ones with the biggest downside, which is always probably what you want to do. The age of the target, so the ones that have got the newest targets, these are them that have clicked in. The slope, which is the ones that are falling fastest to that target, is it's a long way away. It will match this. It's a long way away and it's falling quite quickly. the number of periods since it was activated and how long it's going to take to reach the target. So you can see which ones are going to be nearer the target first. But I'm going to go for the percentage to target. That's really the most popular. And you can just then scroll the results. And so we can actually look at these. So we can see here, that's a big downside target, but it's slightly above the cloud. And so I can just keep going. Relx, despite having recovered off the bottom, there is still a big downside target in place. You would wait really for new lows on a lot of these targets. And so you could put that in as a criteria. So these are just the stocks as we go. These are the stocks that have got these downside targets. So there's a classic one, Softcat. We're seeing stocks now. This one's got upside targets, so you would discount that one a little bit more. You could actually put a condition in that says I don't want upside targets, but and there's another one that's above the cloud. I personally like to eyeball the results and run through and find the worst looking charts. So here's one, Camera AB, which is really fallen out of bed, and that little recovery is enough to then lock the target and activate it. So that's the real key, all based on point and figure. And they're really straightforward. But this is how you find the stocks that have got the biggest downside targets. And so here's an amazing one. Lots of daggers to the downside. That's what I'm looking for, is downside, multiple targets. So that's really the way to get to these stocks. So finding those 40 stocks, quickly scrolling through them, and then getting down to the handful that really look bad. Now, I could probably finesse that scan and make it tighter, but as I say, I like to just go through the results. So have a go. This is on Bloomberg. You can do it on LSEG as well. If you want a trial, just go to updater.co.uk and download and run those scans on the targets yourself.